Hi, this is Mike Protack again, talking about issues that affect our great state and our great nation. You know, we talked about a week or so ago about the economy, the deficits, unemployment levels, that sort of thing, which is really not destroying the fabric of America, but getting pretty close to it. So what we need to take a look at is there's been some talk of another stimulus plan. For those who think this will be the second one, in reality, be the third one. President Bush did one about now 15, 16 months ago. Of course, President Obama did one also. So there may or may not be something in the, in the thought process of the Congress. Certainly before they go off on August recess is probably unlikely. But again, it's probably going to come back because the numbers are staggering. In about 2 weeks, we're going to find out the federal deficit's at record levels. National debt is going up like never before. And even liberal economist Paul Krugman thinks that unemployment is going to recover a little bit. Certainly go over 10%, recover a little bit, but stay in that 8.5% to 9.5% range maybe for 2 or 3 years. And that's not a good thing for America. Because you can talk all you want to about current accounts, about trade imbalances, currency, all those things that are part of the economy, but most Americans relate economic health to unemployment or their employment. So why don't we take a look at what we can do to help small businesses? We've done a pretty good job of addressing large business. But let's think about what we're doing with large businesses. Now, I'm a little more optimistic we can do it better for small business. We need to match that effort we do for large for small. Because most of the effort we put into large businesses, AIG, car companies, etc., has been to give them literally billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in some cases total, so they can do what? Downsize, reduce employment, and possibly close down. That's not a positive thing for America. It takes care of an initial issue, but on down the road, it builds in more economic misery. Whereas if you help small business, as most of you know who are either employed by one or own a small business, that's 60 to 80% of our economic growth in the employment phase is small business. So why not take a look, instead of handing out these tens and hundreds of billions of dollars to large companies, which may have to happen, but certainly let's take a look at what we do for small business. And those things are relatively easy to do, but there has to be the acknowledgement that the foundation of employment growth has to be small business. Now, here's what we can do. A very large tax credit for 1, 2, maybe 3 years, up to maybe 50% of the payroll tax. The taxes that businesses have to pay to have employees on board. And also have that payroll tax credit go to workers. Little known fact, about 3/4 of Americans pay more in payroll taxes than they do in income taxes. Imagine getting that boost in your paycheck where the government gives you a tax holiday. Businesses get to keep more money to attract and keep customers, and the people working for small business have more money in their pocket. What a great thing. That's stimulus for people to make their own decisions rather than fiscal stimulus, which adds to the debt. You may not get a return. Let's take a look at small business. Most of those people do file 1040s, just like you and I do. We should be able to enact a very low, flat tax with a huge personal deduction. I'm talking about inflation-adjusted personal deduction along the lines of about $10,000 per person. And this is something new that most people don't talk about, is offer tax credits for people who save money also. And that's important because on down the road, people are not saving for their future. And we'll talk about Social Security at some point in these videos. It's in danger, folks. My generation is going to literally suck Social Security dry. Let's also have a taxpayer bill of rights, so we don't try to spend our way out of this economy right now. Let's start saving some money, not putting more taxes on small businesses and on people. Taxpayer bill of rights limits budget growth to inflation plus population. It's a good idea. States that have done this are now in surplus, not in deficit. Let's do something very ingenious. About 20 years ago when I started flying in Eastern Europe, they did something very, very imaginative. Capital gains, a very punishing tax on what you make on your own investments. The capital gains in most of these Eastern European countries, because they want more capital gains, more investment, more growth, is zero. Now imagine at a tax rate of 0, so you can grow a business, bring that idea as an entrepreneur and innovator, and not have any capital gains. So you can put that money back into your business, hire more employees, buy more capital goods, instead of feeding Uncle Sam and the IRS. I think that's a great thing. And lastly, Sarbanes-Oxley was a overreaction to some very, very bad business practices, but we need to understand that law is crippling entrepreneurial startups. There are some good intentions in Sarbanes-Oxley, but we need to take a look at that law and make it more business friendly. I mean, not skip all the supervision, but let's be realistic. When you put more burdens on business, they're not attracting, you're not keeping customers, they're satisfying federal law and oftentimes the IRS. So again, the effort we're going to for a big business, is certainly admirable. But we need to also focus on small business, which is going to be the growth for America in years to come. Anyway, thanks for staying tuned into the videos. We'll have more. But remember, small business is the future of America. Let's treat it as such. Thanks a lot.